Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay. This thing's working. Oh, okay, wait. There we go. Hello. And we are live. Welcome to Dog in a Tank Comic Chat. Let me just, yeah, don't mind that. It didn't seem like it was working. I was just trying to make sure the stupid thing was working. Cool, cool. Very cool. Anyways, last time I said that I wanted to get to show you guys the the Gaboon character who I've mentioned previously. He was actually going to be in the thumbnail. Since someone mentioned that they like Gaboon Vipers, I thought I would, show you all that character because you will eventually be seeing me draw him anyways. Granted, as a kid, because of how I plan to start that story. So that's why he's actually going to be on the thumbnail. And then I'm just, I did not do my thumbnail ahead of time. So now you just have the Invisible Man as the thumbnail. So let me just close this. So maybe whenever I don't know, maybe I'll go ahead and update. So here we go. I partially drew him. Like I said, he's going to be a thumbnail. And I just felt time ticking away, so I just did what I did. So, yeah. Let me find the reference sheet again. Hello. There we go. So, yeah. Let me see. Okay. So, yeah, this is Josh Welker. He is one of the Gaboon characters. Wait, I'm on the wrong darn layer. One of the Gaboon characters from the Snake series I have mentioned previously. Let me just go ahead and close it. There we go. And so he is essentially one of the main characters. I think I initially was planning on making him the main character, but then I just, he is one of the main characters, so he is very important to the plot. But I tried to, as mentioned previously, I like developing my characters evenly. So I have other characters who will be along for the ride because it's not fun if you don't have more than one character to torture. Well, no. Right, yes. So yeah. That and I fussed over his face for several minutes just trying to do this stupid thumbnail. So yeah. So basically, I will try to see about getting this to stopping point. This is sort of my warm up sketch for today. I usually don't do warm up sketches, but because of my plans, it became a warm up sketch. So yeah, I will have to eventually draw him anyways. So yeah. This is just sort of gets me a better idea of how I want to draw him. I have a character sheet that I'm looking at. If you heard the paper, that's my character sheet. And how on earth do I describe the series that he's in? I love giant robots. I like Transformers. I love Pacific Rim. Except for the sequel. I don't love that as much. I mean, it just kills me to watch Pacific Rim Uprising because you can just tell the difference in so many things. You can tell that Guillermo del Toro, I apologize if I just butchered his name, was not in charge of that movie. And the pacing is weird. The pacing on that movie drives me nuts. And part of that is probably my inner writer silently complaining about it, but it frustrates the living tar out of me because I think there are parts of the movie that when you watch it, you get the gist that they had something of his that they were working with. And so, like, there are things that make sense. Then there are things that just feel kind of, you know, frustrating. And I'm not really a fan of Pentecost Jr. And I'm not saying that because I dislike I love Pentecost, okay? So one of my problems with his son is that he starts off on his own character arc, but then he starts becoming Pentecost 2.0, and that's frustrating because I wanted to see him. If they were going to have him have a son, then he needed to be his own character. So that is one of the things that is frustrating for me whenever I watch that movie. I can watch the first one over and over again. Just everything is awesome. Just the music, the characters for the most part. I mean, Mako is a little annoying when you first watch it, but then you sort of, you kind of get over it if you are annoyed by her a little bit. So yeah. And she has a solid character arc. She has a solid character arc. So there's really, even if you want to complain about something, you kind of get over it bit by bit because here we go. He is supposed to be based on Gaboon Viper, which is why he has kind of a bigger build. Dude's also, he's basically part of, yeah. Now I'm shift. I apologize if that's a little jerk. That's a little sudden. Give me a minute here. This thing is being difficult. I was trying to... Okay, something got out. Okay. Well, I like posting on social... At least on, like, X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that I am live streaming. And I just realized I have things saying that when my things don't post, so... That's fine. I can't really... I'll just leave that be. I'm not here to fuss with social media. I have to deal with other things, so yeah. I have bigger fish to fry. So yeah. Now that my Pacific Rim rant is over. But yeah, going into this series I'm talking this character is from. And you may be wondering, why am I juggling so many series? You will eventually find out. I do plan on eventually coming out with why and what I'm up to. So, yeah. I just have a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm trying to go ahead. Okay, there's a little bit more details I gotta do here. Basically, whenever I was designing the armor, I was trying to think, well, he's a snake, so... And his lower body turns into the rest of the snake. So my logic is to create like a suit of armor that would be pliable to that concept. So that is how we have this sort of design. And so yeah, this is my snake dude. Or one of my many snake people. I mean, if you've seen the villains video, then you've seen Cedric Conda. I think his design is a little bit easier compared to Josh's overall. But still. I feel like it looks a little Stormtrooper-y by accident, but I'll live. But yeah. I like giant robots. I also kind of like snakes, so that's how you get the series this character is from. So yeah. And after I get done with this, I might go ahead and just ink it. This is actually okay. So yeah. I feel like I'm all over the place. So hello. Hello, caller number 1. You're on the line. Feel free to comment. This is not my best attempt at drawing this character. This is also the first attempt outside of the character sheet that I have really drawn him. And that's probably not a good thing. I need to get into a habit of probably drawing some of these characters a lot more. After the failure that the last live stream was, and that's why I'm drawing this guy now, I've essentially promised that I was going to show him, and I didn't, as I made clear earlier. So I wanted to keep a promise by at least showing him this time. Since that, y'all will be getting to see more of him soon, hopefully. So yeah. I need to start practicing more of these characters more. In general, I sort of consider the comic, whenever I start drawing the comic itself, to essentially sort of be my practice. And a lot of that is because that's what I did with Phantom Eclipse. But in all honesty, that is probably, now that I'm trying to be a little bit more professional, I probably need to shift away from that a little bit. I'm trying to be more professional. If it's anything, I definitely take doing comics seriously. That's one of the reasons why I want to wait before I make like the official announcement of my project thing that I've been working on. I have heard about how, you have these people who will start a project, they will get the money for it, and then nothing will ever come to fruition. Oh, hello. Hi, thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much, Elon Mudd. Thank you. So yeah, I want to wait till I have more things, I guess, set up before I really start trying to push my thing. I'm trying to just push it alone or get it out there. There we go, that sounds better. Simply by doing the live streams, because I need to be working on that. I wish I had done more work on social media, because that would have gone a long way to helping me now. So I'm definitely feeling the pain of what my younger self made mistakes in doing. So, and I struggled with the eyebrows while I was drawing this, because for the most part, for the snake characters, I'm not really planning on doing much in the way of eyebrows. And yeah. So yeah. So I will, like I said, eventually I will give out more details. I have heard, I guess, thanks to, I would say, like, watching the stuff on the Rippaverse and whatnot, that, customers want to know, I guess, who's putting the stuff out, because unfortunately they have been burned too many times by the people who are creating. I think that's mostly aimed at, like, I guess Disney, because of all this bait and switch nonsense. And I just think, I've been watching stuff go down over there. I don't want to get into it because I feel like that would be a really easy thing to do. And that's not how I want to become known. That's what makes me frustrated more than anything, is that, if you go into like the political side and the drama and whatnot, you can quickly make yourself heard. But alas, that's not what I want to do. That's not how I want to be known. And give me a minute here. And bingo. There we go. I'm doing a wee bit multitasking. So yeah. So I want to be upfront and honest. For the most part, I just want to put out stories for people to enjoy, because, and I think there's a bunch of other people who also want to do the same. So, and that's one thing I'm sort of learning as I try to learn to tread, or not so much tread, but at least keep an eye on what goes on in the, let me see what I want to do. What I want to deal with this. What goes on in the indie world. That, and I feel like we have too much drama in the world. You know, if you want drama, you can find drama anywhere. It's kind of annoying. And it's like, well, I also feel like it's also easy to get sucked into drama. That, and whenever you see someone else become popular that way, you tend to want to copy that, and that's just. The big reason why I don't really want to go that way is because I'm not familiar enough with what's going on to feel comfortable with that, and B, I just don't want to do that. So I will leave the drama to people, to people who are more knowledgeable in creating drama, and I will focus on my own stuff because I don't have the energy to deal with that. I want to save my energy for what I'm doing now, and yeah. I always loved doing line art. I used to do it with the line tool back when started Phantom Eclipse because I was sort of going for that, I guess, not really cartoon, I guess more anime thing because I guess I was thinking thin lines. But then I was looking at later and I hate that, and it takes way longer to sit there with the line tool. So that is why you see me doing this by hand, is because I do it faster this way. That's why I like trying to keep my sketches as clear and straightforward as possible, because I try not to go nuts with my character designs. There are some character designs where I did go, I did do a little bit more detailed, like Water Lily from Phantom Eclipse. Does he have anything? Okay, he doesn't. Okay. So, she is a plant type character. So she is a little bit more detailed, and I'm going to botch this hand. That's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Because that's my fault, because I should have made that a little bit more detailed. But it's okay. So yeah. Water Lily is one of the Phantom 5, and she is one of the more detailed character designs I've done, along with Stone Break, who is okay. Water Lily is in chapter 4. She goes up against Mirek in that story. I honestly, there are so many things I wish I had done better in Phantom Eclipse, because I feel like I could have done more, but I didn't really want to. I feel like it's easy to make something bloated, if you know what I mean, story wise. And I was at that point in my comic journey where I was trying to learn to make things a little bit more streamlined, because it was first off, it's difficult to write the story going off the seat of your pants. It just is, especially whenever you're having to turn around and you're drawing it. And so I would say that chapter 4 for me really kind of marked my shift from making stuff up as I went to really trying to have the story planned out and know where on earth I'm going. So it is actually one of my favorite chapters, I think. I did probably a lot of unnecessary cross-hatching, because I was looking at later, and to me it looks a little... First off, it's a bit messy. Secondly, it's probably unnecessary, because I feel like the purpose of cross-hatching... And I have seen some of the older comics, and they do have cross-hatching, but they also have a lot less saturated colors. And I have... Phantom Eclipse is more saturated. So that's why I feel like I probably could have gone without, but I really did enjoy doing the cross-hatching. The cross-hatching, as I choke on that word, cross-hatching is something that I feel like a lot of artists love doing, because it is just fun and relaxing. I mean, that's where you can really lose yourself. If you didn't lose yourself in the rest of the process, then you will certainly lose yourself just doing the cross hatching. It is a bit time consuming, but it's one of those things that once you get used to it, like, it used to be really tedious to do the scales on Draven, and since I started drawing her a lot, and I just went from it being tedious to it being one of my favorite parts. Cause like, well, here, in general, yeah, that's how you. There are many ways to scale, so yeah. There we go. Just to sort of, if I haven't shown how I've done that before, thank you, Clip Studio. Come on, do your thing. So yeah. Scales are just really fun to do. I used to choke on them a lot. I think there was one panel at the end of, I'm trying to think, one of the chapters, I can't think of which, of Phantom Eclipse, where a certain character who has scales, not Draven, but you will come to know him eventually, I was doing a scene with him, and I started to just try to cheat my way out of it, because I knew no scales could take a while. I wasn't at the point where I'm at now, obviously, but I was trying to cheat my way out, and I did it with that line tool thing, and I absolutely hate it. It just looked so flat. So it took me longer, but I went ahead and I just drew in every scale. And it was, even if I eventually maybe clean up some of those older pages, because I don't plan on redoing every chapter and every page, because first off, that would take forever, and I would lose a lot of time doing that. I've done chapter 1 as a gentle reboot, because I felt like that was where the story was the weakest, along with chapter 2, because I felt like I could have done so much better story-wise with those. And so I rewrote those. I've redone chapter 1. I need to finish actually rewriting chapter 2, but I have a pretty strong idea where I want to go with that, so I just need to get around and write that. But still. So I will be redoing chapter 2, and then maybe just doing some cleanup on chapter 3 whenever I get to it, because I expect the chapter 2 will be quite decently long. So yeah, that's my game plan for Phantom Eclipse in general, is to do that. And, okay. Cool. This thing is being... There we go. So yeah. That's my plan with Phantom Eclipse, and I have a bunch of plans. But yeah. And that's Phantom Eclipse in a way. You would not have me doing comics without that series. It may be my first comic series or whatever, but I started it because I want to enter this, and I've said this in one of my other videos, but I'm going to assume that probably not very many people have really watched those. You know, you can always... And so what I'm saying here will probably be, if you have, thank you so much. If you haven't, you know, whatever floats your boat. Because I feel like I repeat myself too often. I apologize for that. I'm just sort of leaving some key bits here towards the very end. But yeah. I was looking at a reference image of a Gaboon Viper, and they have... Where we go? They have like these little lines that reach their eyes, and then just sort of Oh boy. You know, they go back and they have that gorgeous. Oh, hello, hello. Yeah, I'm doing good. As I pivot there, but yeah. But yeah, they've got this gorgeous diamond pattern. I feel like I'm sort of sacrificing it because this dude is wearing a suit, a battle suit basically, but I would feel awkward doing it. Yeah. There we go. So yes, Hail the Lore. I believe you're the one that mentioned previously that you liked Gaboon Vipers. So I hope my Gaboon Viper dude is. I hope Joshua Welker holds up to some bit of a hype here. So yeah, I tried to pull. I'm trying to go for sort of a half human, half snake thing here because I don't want to go full snake. I obviously don't want to go full human. Back whenever I was first conceptualized this series, I was leaning towards a different concept in mind. And, there we go. Because Gaboons have those nice round cheekbones. We gotta have our nice round cheekbones. So, originally this dude was not, he was not just a total snake person dude that he is now. Thank you. So yeah. This is actually one of the series that sort of evolved more because I had one idea and I liked the idea. And then I just sort of scrapped it. So yes. And that's one thing that I think Phantom Eclipse has done well in teaching me is to definitely, learn to self-edit. It's easy to want to go with your first idea, but it's not. First idea might not always be the best. So there we go. Let me turn off. Let me see how horrible this looks without the sketch layer if I can find it. Yep. Nope. Hello. It could look worse. It could look better. I will be okay. I had to I've redesigned this character more times than I almost care to remember. So yeah. So this is just the story that this character is from is one that has been on my back burner for the past few years. And everything gets scooted over. Just noticing that. Let me scoot this closer. So it started off, like I said, with one idea, and then I scrapped that idea. I don't really like this line because it was one of those things. It was cool in theory, but it just felt kind of too much and over the top. And a friend of mine who I mentioned the original concept to, he liked it, but and I genuinely appreciate him liking it, but it just the original idea was basically vampire. Oh, thank you. Hello. Cool. Thank you. The original idea was like vampire snake people, and it was kind of a cool idea. That was my initial concept, but then I scrapped it because, like I said, it seemed kind of over the top to say the least. I mean, vampires / snakes. The concept sort of works because both have fangs, both are predatory, so on and so forth. But then the more that you look into it, or more you think about it, it just seemed kind of difficult to really work with. And there are times when you should try to work a little bit more with something. But I just honestly felt like it would not work, so I sort of scrapped the vampire thing. I think there was something else I probably scrapped the vampire thing on. And then, yeah. So, me and vampires have a tricky history. Oh, cool. hell of a lore. My concept for the Gaboon is more of a Wolverine route. That sounds kind of cool. I didn't really think of that, but darn it. There we go. I think that would probably be very cool in its own right. But yeah. I don't know. Since I try to make my villains look crazy as all get out, I try to keep my protagonist looking somewhat, sane, to say the least. I don't know. I actually used to really like Deadpool. I still like some of the classic Deadpool stuff, but that's a character that I enjoy the character, but I don't enjoy him quite as much as I used to, if that makes any sort of sense. But yeah. So yeah. Darn it. Double check that. Okay, good. There we go. So yeah. The series is gonna be something else, and now it's sort of, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. And once again, this sort of, well, I'm gonna go with, if I were to describe the series that I'm working on, snake people with, Jaegers, basically, I guess, for lack of a better description. But my own spin on the concept, because there have been a lot of different takes on giant robots over the years. So, I've seen, at least, I would say just enough to have a fairly good idea of what I want to do. And I've developed it to a certain extent. Granted, the robots they'll be there, but I'm more of a character-driven writing person. He is. That's my biggest complaint about Deadpool. He really is only good for a certain kind of vibe. That, and I feel like they've kind of, I don't know, it's like, I get that he's an anti-hero, so you obviously cannot expect really black and white morality from him. But it just feels like too many characters are trying to become Deadpool, or they're trying to go too hard into the anti-hero thing, and that just kind of, you need the black and white morality, because otherwise it makes his character not work as well, because he doesn't stick out. So yeah. That's one of my biggest problems with Deadpool and anti-heroes. And because I feel like those characters, that's not to say you can't have a series where it is more of a morally gray setting, because there are series out there that have gone that route, and they have very successfully pulled it off, probably, because I have not seen everything. But it's still, I just feel like you still need some sort of black and white to sort of help anchor the anti-heroes. And that's one of the reasons why Deadpool works to begin with, is that you do have characters like Wolverine, and you do have characters like Captain America, Spider-Man. And that's one thing I think I've seen over the years, is that Deadpool is often partnered with a more morally white character, and that really makes his hijinks work, because he's doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and the poor Spider-Man is just dragged along for, he's a victim of being subjected to it. Well, then there's that. Yes, I know that. Deathstroke is also kind of a favorite of mine, mostly because of Slade from Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans, not the Abomination Teen Titans Go. But yeah, that is the other Punisher is the perfect anti-hero. I haven't really seen much of the Punisher. I should probably eventually look into checking him out some. because if nothing else, that would make for some very interesting reading. Although I would probably want to dip into like the older stuff, since it seems like I've heard some not so good stuff about more recent things. So yeah, I generally do not do this sort of thing like this, but I will work with it. Amen. Amen. Exactly. Comedy characters work best with the straight man to react to it. Yes. And that's not to say Deadpool can't stand on his own, because he can, but I just think he works better whenever he does have someone to play off of a little bit. At least on the side. Clean this up. You know what? Oh yes. I saw that. Got to watch through all of the Teen Titans original series years ago, and it just kills me they did not do another season, but it is really good. The characters, what I really love about it is just the writing itself is for the most part pretty solid, and so each character gets to have, I think for each season, some sort of character centered episode, and I think that's really what you want to go for when you're writing that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, the Terra arc is really good in and of itself. I mean, that's what kills me about, I guess, modern cartoons, is because you look at the older stuff and they're willing to jump into these darker corners or more darker things, because the mind games that Slade does the with Robin and then with Terra is just, that's nightmare fuel. And it's horrifying, but that's part of what makes him such a good villain. Yes, yes. I wish there was more of that series. Uh, I also like Young Justice, like the first two seasons, and I have not watched what they've done with it more recently, because I've heard some things about it, and I want to leave the original memory untampered. That's where I'm at. Just leave certain things untampered. Keep fond memories fond. I think Deathstroke is also in it, but he plays a much smaller part than he does in like Teen Titans. I want more off-white, because I think they look white, but they're like a smidge off-white. I'm having to refresh this on occasion because, okay, there we go. That looks a little bit better. Scroll up. I love this selection tool. Although I did try using the other one recently, and I get why people do what they do with that. I get to have the fun of figuring out something else here in a minute. So yeah. Personally, I wish they would go back to doing cartoons like that, like Teen Titans, because it just feels like it's been a century since we've really had anything like that. Then we can actually have some white. As it bleeds. There we go. So yeah. And that's too darn big. So yeah. I mean, Deathstroke, I think, is easily one of the darker characters. I mean, I read up on. I haven't really gotten the chance to really read much of the older DC stuff. I've read some Deadpool classic, which I really enjoyed. Um, I've read. I say, yeah, DC ruled cartoons the early 2000s and dropped the ball. They truly did. So yeah. It just sucks because they did so good and then they just, and that's one thing I feel like I sort of noticed as a kid, is that it just seemed like the cartoons were gradually getting more and more dumbed down. I mean, whenever you hear about what they did with like Teen Titans, and then you go in and realize, and you look at other things, and you just slowly see kind of the salt of cartoons just slowly, you know. I need to look into Deathstroke more, because for the most part I've read like a handful of comics, which I feel like is a probably a horrible thing considering that I'm making comics. But yeah, I need to look into that and find some really good ones to read at some point. I'm contemplating what the heck I want to do with his hair. So yeah. I think I've also actually I've had this suspicion. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I've seen some of the 90s cartoons and I love the, yes, I know this. I really enjoyed the 90s crap. Darn it. Take on She-Hulk. And it's because I like that version of her. I do not care for what they have done with her recently, but I like that version of her. And they did really good in the 90s, and I've seen some of the other ones. Uh, that works. But I've seen some of the 90s. I've actually like at some point to just watch through a lot of them if I can ever make time for that. Yeah, I sort of, bro looks dead inside, but he'll look he'll look better after I put in the shading. uh I feel like I'm all over the place today. But yeah, I need to see the 90s stuff. I've heard about the snafu that's gone down with um X-Men 97, and that just kind of, I wasn't really interested to begin with because I had my suspicions on certain things, and they have successfully, my bad, confirmed what I suspected, so I kind of really don't want to bother giving them the time of day now that I know why I suspected was true. So that's frustrating, but yes. So yeah. Well, how was the season 3 of Young Justice? Just uh give me an idea of how give me an idea of how it was, if nothing else. Maybe it'll motivate me to check it out. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. I feel like we're all over the place. I'm all over the place. My brain's all over the place. Okay. Hmm. So yeah. Do I like that or not? Part of the thing is that I'm trying to keep in mind that these characters are effectively fighting a war, so I kind of want to keep that in mind. That they're going to have sort of, I guess, like camo and stuff, since that's what I did with Cedric. Pick up any Deathstroke comic that has the title Deathstroke, the original Terminator. Okay, I will duly note that. Because I sometimes make it to a bookstore that I think sells that sort of older comics. So I'll try to keep that in mind. Next chance I get, try to pop over there and check that out. See if they have any. Amen. Amen. I just hope they leave the 90s alone. Just leave it be. I mean, seriously. Maybe a smidge darker. So yeah. I wish they hadn't even bothered with the X-Men thing to begin with. It just felt like a nostalgia bait. And that's why I suspected at the start of it. And whenever I find out later that my suspicion was essentially right, it's frustrating. And I feel bad for the people that fell for it, because you should be able to watch or read something and not worry that you're being baited or gaslit, you know? That is just so frustrating, because I wouldn't have minded being proven wrong. Because that's honestly what I would have preferred. Would have been to been proven wrong. I may totally redo that bottom layer in a minute, because I'm not 100% I like it. There we go. So yeah. I wish they had just left it alone to begin with, so. On to less depressing things. I have apathy toward anything Marvel. If I want to be entertained by something Marvel, I'll read the old comics. I'm basically, that's where I'm at this point as well. I kind of had my interest in current comics killed by IDW with some of the stuff that they did with the Transformers, and I'm not really gonna blame IDW, except that I think they should have gotten a different writer. I will leave it at that, because I don't want to go down that wormhole today. But I'm sort of at the same point that I think a lot of people are. So I do like trying to find older stuff to look into and enjoy if I want anything. I actually really liked. I remember reading it a while back, but I really enjoyed. I believe it's Captain America: The Search for the Bloodstone. I believe it's one of the much older ones. That's one of the few comics I have read. But it was like Baron Zemo trying to get hold of this stone. I think maybe bring his dad back. I have not read that in years. But it was an older one. It was like the whole thing was a set collected. So I would love to eventually find those again. Yep. Yep. I would love to find that set of comics again, or find them somewhere. Whether it's as a volume or, just, all together. Uh, I hope so too. I mean, I wouldn't trust him at this point, but I generally hope so too. And what really frustrates me is, we're gonna get depressing again, is I feel like the Marvel people literally have their job handed to them. And you're probably not gonna hear this for a bit, so since there's that minute lag. But they have their job handed to them because there are years of all of this material. And it just sort of frustrates me on two fronts because I'm over here. If I want to do something, if I want a story, I don't have that kind of thing to, fall back on. I have to go, I have to develop the stuff myself. And these people literally have the thing handed to them. And it's like, don't drop the ball. And then they drop the ball. Don't drop the ball, people. Stop dropping it. I'm not sure. I like it being a bit softened, but I feel like that's a little too much. Oh, hellos. Hello. So yeah, they just need to leave certain things alone. And they need to stop treating the fans like the fans are in the wrong when they're not. Granted, there are times when I think fans can be in the wrong, but at this point, I feel like the fans have been in the right for years. And they really just, if they want to salvage it, then they need to listen to the fans. Go back to making story-driven good stuff. Otherwise, I feel like just let the indie people take it over. We'll put out new stories. Although I feel like yeah. There are some I think that aren't like 100% faithful to the manga, but for the most part, if they cut something, it's they someone had a reason somewhere. It's not as bad as yeah. I actually have really been enjoying Spy Family. And they did recently come out with a movie. I didn't get around to see the movie, and I've heard that it was sort of a, an okay movie, not the best movie. So I'm a little bummed by that, but you know, I just read I think volume 11 and that was really good. Volume 11 of Spy Family was really good. I think I'm gonna finish making this dude camo and then I'm gonna go jump to shading. Yeah, I'm gonna change that one layer if I can find. Yep, there it is. So yeah, Spy Family for me is really, yep, it's just really a breath of fresh air because it's fairly clean and it's just it's its own oyster. It's its own thing. I mean, the action sequences. I found out recently that I think the same studio that did work on Attack on Titan also has been doing work on Spy Family, and they did, I think, that one scene with Yor uh, trying to take something of Anya's to the school, and that is some really awesome animation right there. I have heard a record of Ragnarok. I think, at least in passing, for sure. There's just so much stuff out there, and there's not enough time to watch or read it all. That is my problem. There's too much stuff. So yeah. Dude looks like he's being forced to wave at knife point or something. It's like, yes, I'm doing this. I didn't want to, but I'm doing it. Please don't hurt me. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. that's not to say that those manga probably aren't good. It's just uh, I'd rather just focus on like one or two that I'm really invested in rather than try to hit everything. I mean, that's just too much. I will leave that to the people who have that sort of time. You know, sometimes I have to read spoilers to really want to get invested in something because otherwise I will probably just ignore it. I mean, I love a good fight scene. I mean, just the animation on some of them are just so freaking insane. That and I like ones that are decently strategic within reason. I mean, not every fight is going to be strategic for whatever reason, but it's like whenever it's really strategic and it's got amazing choreography, it's like the icing on the cake. And probably one of my most favorite fights in anime, and this is I think anime only because I don't think this was actually in the manga, is that one scene from Naruto where Madara is just um, taking out the Fourth Shinobi Alliance. I mean, that is gorgeous. I can watch that over and over again and never get bored. That is just some amazing animation and choreography right there. Right there. Right in that one scene. Just absolutely amazing. I'm trying to think of another good fight scene that has awesome choreography. I'm coming off blank right now because I'm multitasking, but still. There are a lot of really good ones out there. That and it's just when the animation is just insane. I also it's just animation is something that blows my mind in general because people are able to do so much stuff with it. Mm. I've seen some of the fights from that. That's why I'm not really sure if I want to really get into that. But I've seen I think it was the fight with Toji and that seafood dude. I saw that, and that is just another That is just really gorgeous. So I may simply watch that one solely for the fights, if nothing else, just because of the fights. But yeah, I saw that one. I've seen, I think, a bits and pieces from others, but that's the main scene that I have seen. Ooh, I should look into that. I haven't seen any good fights lately. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bummed lately. Oh, yes, yes. I have seen Hunter x Hunter. Yes, yes. And some of the choreography in that is also very nuts. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just, I actually sort of been wanting to rewatch Hunter x Hunter a bit. I mean, that is a masterpiece overall, just fictionally speaking, of how well it is written. I mean, I've seen and sort of done like little mini studies on some different anime series, and then I got to Hunter x Hunter, and that one blew me away because it's just in its own league, writing wise. I mean, if anything, that's like your goal. Your goal as a writer is to at least aim to be somewhat, but in your own right, as good as you possibly can. Because obviously, not everyone is going to be, you know, someone on that same level. But you definitely want to try to make it a goal to like work to that level. At least that's sort of my goal in a way, because that's just I actually really want to talk about a certain arc in Hunter x Hunter, but I don't think you're far enough along. And I don't want to give you any spoilers because I've seen it. And I want to give spoilers, but I don't want to give spoilers. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you thought, I think I saw that you mentioned that you were on the Heavens Arena arc. Oh, buckle in. Definitely buckle in. Yes. I think I'm going to wrap this up because otherwise I will sit here. When I wrap this up, I mean wrap up the drawing. I will leave it here. I'm pretty satisfied with this. I feel like it could be better. The character looks better with some shading, although I wouldn't mind adding some more detailing here and there. It really does. Cool. I will probably. I need to like make. I have a list somewhere I was making of like various anime I want to watch, so I may have to add Requiem of Ragnarok because I do enjoy a really good fight. It takes life experience to write that good. Indeed, definitely. It takes life experience. It takes a lot of, yeah. So I will close this and pop over here, find what I'm looking for. Okay. I think I will just focus. I could focus on a bunch of pages, but I will only focus on one for now. And this is one page I have choked on. I'm trying to consider if I really want to work on this while I'm live streaming. I think I will leave that one to work on another day because I feel like I would work better on it whenever I'm not live streaming. If I can get okay, there we go. I'm trying to work on sort of what I consider the simpler pages while I'm live streaming. Otherwise, I will definitely bungle something. Since I'm multitasking. I recommend the Record of Ragnarok manga rather than the anime. The anime from Netflix and the animation is really bad. Oh yeah. Yep, Hisoka is. Hey, arguably he sort of did the right thing. He saved them from potentially getting killed in his own warped sense, since they did need to learn the fighting thing of that. I apologize if I've forgotten, but yeah, they need to learn that so they wouldn't get killed. It was a necessary evil. I'm going to just drop all these in here so I can start refining stuff. So yeah. Close that. Is there anything connected to this layer? And no. We'll leave that in place then. So yeah. And I hate it when the animation. It kills me whenever the animation is bad because you read the manga and you're bummed. Yes. Yes, he is. I mean, what that? Yes, he is. I will leave it at that. Yes. Amen. Exactly. We want to see Gon kick Hisoka's butt. And that's another reason why I like fight scenes. I like the catharsis because it is so cathartic seeing someone kick someone else's butt. And now I know what is wrong with this panel. So you will go in and start fixing it. There we go. I don't think I've really drawn anything at this angle before, just probably why the original looked off. Yeah, yep. I mean, that one scene from the Hunters thing tournament thing, that was really, that is, I mean, Hisoka basically just being totally bloodlust crazy is just, that is horrifying. I mean, and that is beautifully illustrated, and it is just horrifying. And although I really enjoy watching no, I would not even trust him with a dog. I mean, he'd probably let the poor thing run off, but no. No. I would not even, heck, I wouldn't even trust him with a goldfish. I mean, at least the goldfish would probably survive if he left it alone. Assuming he left it alone. I mean, unless I was on vacation or something. No. He is not someone to leave anything of value that is living with. That is alive. There we go. So yes, absolutely no. I mean, he's a really interesting character, but that's where you draw the line. Interesting does not always make for a potential babysitter or house sitter material or anything sitter material. Oh no. Yep. Nope. Oh heck no. Good heavens, no. Since I know exactly what you're talking about there. Nope. That's a nope. That's one big hearty nope. Yep. I have to admit, when I first started watching Hunter x Hunter, his character did strike me as being like a little flat and generic, but now, years later, I just really appreciate that because not every character has to be the edgy whatever, and you need to have that one character who is that breath of fresh air, who is new to the world. And that's, in many ways, that is what Gon is. Especially when you compare him to like Killua, because Killua is comes from an assassin background, and he just he knows a lot of things, and watching him handle certain things, it's interesting and horrifying, especially whenever you have him next to Gon. Yep. He does. I actually have been sort of wanting to catch up on the manga for Hunter x Hunter, because I've been hearing there's a lot of interesting stuff going down on that side of things, especially since the mangaka I think is preparing to drop some more chapters maybe later this year. So, yeah, I would like to maybe eventually catch up on that at some point. Let's see. Here we go. Yep. Oh boy. He certainly is, and oh my goodness. When you hit a later arc, oh darn. Darn it. Spoiler territory. Oh boy. Yep. I still don't like how that looks at all. Let me bring this. Mm. Yeah, he did, but I would say also bear in mind, sort of, I think the comment afterwards, I think the father makes to the mom. And that is just one that, you know, I haven't watched Hunter x Hunter in a while, but that is just sort of one of those things that's kind of haunted me ever since I did see it, because that is just, it's eerie. Oh boy. Hunter x Hunter manga goes in a hiatus often because of Togashi's health issues. He suffers from chronic back pain, and this doesn't let him draw properly because he can't get in good position. I have heard that, and I feel so bad for the poor guy, because that's gotta stink, you know. I think I heard recently that he was actually putting in like more text, and some people were complaining about it, and it's like there's an extenuating circumstance that can't be helped with that, you know. So I wish they maybe cut him a bit of a break, because that, I have never had back pain. I know people who have, and I know how horrible it can be. So yeah, this is one of those cases where health takes priority over you know, your work, unfortunately. So yeah. And I will say that you definitely, yes, Kurapika will indeed become a gangster later on. I think I now have this at a better angle. It's a little bit better. There are some points the Hunter x Hunter manga stayed on hiatus for over 500 days, but it's not Togashi's fault. He has health issues. He literally can't draw some days. Yeah. I think I have heard that some of these health issues may be due to like the insane work thing that the manga industry was back in like the 90s, which I think is when his first manga series first took off. I think I've heard that, but feel free to correct me. But yeah, unfortunately, I have heard that the manga industry can be very not exactly the best. I don't want to say outright cruel, but it can be very hard on people. Because I have heard another story where some poor guy literally worked himself to death on his manga, and it's horrifying and depressing. So yeah. Anyway, I think I will be working on trying to wind down here. Thank you all so much for coming to my live stream. I really appreciate it. Um, I hope I'll see you all next time. If not, catch you later. And I guess bye bye. Oh, well, here, let me read this real quick before I cut. Another one who had health issues with Tyke Kubo from Bleach. He had torn tendon on his left shoulder, and that's why the final arc of Bleach feels kind of rushed. Yeah, I believe that. He was also sick, I think, a lot of the time that he was working on Bleach, based on what I've heard. And I feel like oh, yeah. You're welcome. And like I said, feel free to, okay. Thank you. Give me a minute here. And I'm gonna give this a minute. And how long has this been going? Oh, good heavens. Well, I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up. So, thank you all for some.